Hey, this is Ari, and in this video, I want to share a little clip from a podcast I did with Dr. David Jockers on the benefits of fasting and intermittent fasting.
For the person that they want to lose 30 pounds, not very active, overweight. So that person, we want to get them doing 16 to 18-hour fasts on a regular basis. And then also we want to add in a 24 to maybe even up to like a 40-hour fast where they fast from, let's say, dinner Saturday to lunch on Monday, for example. Okay. And then we add in one day where we're having a higher amount of carbohydrates. And it really depends on the individual. So if their fasting insulin is really high, we might not do that. But if their fasting insulin is pretty decent, then we'll do like one day a week where we might go to 100 to 150 grams of carbohydrates, kind of like that feasting day, to just reactivate certain hormones, tell the body, hey, we're not in a state of scarcity. We want this sort of diet variation to take place where the body doesn't feel like we're in this, you know, we're in this environment where there's no food around. We want to kind of cycle back and forth between periods of famine and periods where we're telling the body based on the amount of carbohydrates we're consuming that food is plentiful, right? And so insulin is more elevated. So we'll do something along those lines. Now, if the person's doing that and they're still struggling, we can experiment with doing, you know, very low carb, right? For a longer period of time to see if that helps budge. There's a lot of different mechanisms here, right? We can try that. We could also look at, for example, food sensitivity. Sometimes they're reacting negatively to eggs or coffee or something like that. And they're consuming it every day, even though they're on a low carb diet, doing fasting, and they're still not seeing changes. So we may have some issues with that. So there's a couple other, different hacks that we have to look at when it comes to, they may not be sleeping well, right? So we have to optimize sleep habits, all those kinds of factors. But something along those lines is usually a good strategy.
Hey, this is Ari. I hope you enjoyed this little clip. And if you want to listen to the full length podcast, the link for that is down in the description below. Also, one more thing before you go, I want to mention, in case you don't already know about it, our formula, Energenesis. This is an amazing product that has multiple compounds in it that are scientifically proven in numerous studies to increase your energy levels, not just by 3% or 5% or 10%, but by 30 or 40 or 50% in a very, very short time frame. So one of these compounds that I'll mention here is called Factor Phospholipid, and it is an extract of phospholipids that comes from lecithin, and they extract the pure phospholipids from this, things like phosphatidylcholine, phosphatidylethanolamine, and many others. And these are the same fatty acid compounds, phospholipid compounds, that compose our cell membranes and mitochondrial membranes. And this specific patented formula has been shown actually to enter into the bloodstream undigested, basically, without being broken down and denatured through the digestive process in the stomach and the intestines. It makes it into the bloodstream and actually makes it all the way to our cells and to our mitochondria, where it helps repair damaged mitochondrial membranes and facilitates our mitochondria functioning better. Now, all of that sounds like wonderful theory, and it sounds like it could be beneficial, but the real test is, has it actually been studied and been proven to increase your energy levels? And the answer is yes, absolutely. There are numerous studies outlined in a wonderful paper by a scientist named Garth Nicholson in a paper called Lipid Replacement Therapy. I highly recommend checking this out if you're interested in digging into the research. But this compound has been studied in the context of multiple different kinds of chronic fatigue. Aging-related chronic fatigue, obesity-related chronic fatigue, obscure things like Gulf War illness, and numerous studies in chronic fatigue syndrome. And there are studies showing that this has the capability. They've taken one study, in fact, actually showed that in elderly adults over the age of 65, it restored their mitochondrial health, which had deteriorated heavily. It restored it to the level of healthy 29-year-olds, believe it or not. And they've actually measured energy levels in these people. And all of these studies across the board show improvements in energy of at least 25% and typically more like 35 to 45% in just the span of between 4 to 12 weeks. That's how long all of these studies are, 4 to 12 weeks. They're showing dramatic, huge improvements in energy levels by helping to repair these mitochondrial membranes through this thing called lipid replacement therapy, using, again, this patented form of a phospholipid extract called NT factor. This is just one of about 20 ingredients proven to benefit mitochondrial health that you'll find in my formula Energenesis. So I strongly encourage you, if you are struggling with your energy levels, if you're dealing with chronic fatigue, go grab yourself a bottle or 3 of this, or subscribe and save. Try it out. You are going to be blown away by the results. We get so many testimonials. We get so many emails from people talking about how this one thing has transformed their lives. So I cannot encourage you strongly enough to give this a shot. And let's say you buy 3 bottles, try out the first one, give it a month. And if you don't notice significant improvements, you can return the unopened bottles to us for a full refund. So give it a shot. I really think you're going to be blown away by the results. The formula is called Energenesis, and you can get it at theenergyblueprint.com or click the link below. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you again very soon.